Hey guys, Ivan here, and in this video we're gonna have to cover a lot of things, a lot of bodybuilders, and we're gonna start with Greene. In the most recent RX muscle video, the muscle in the morning, Dave Palumbo said that Greene is officially not competing at the Mr. Olympia, that he announced it publicly. I have no idea where did Dave hear that, when did Kai say that. If you guys know, let me know, please, I want to know. But as for now, Kai just uploaded this video of himself training legs. And right here, he's training this small muscle in the upper portion of his quads. And why would somebody do this unless they're gonna compete? Now the question is this recent? And who the hell knows? Maybe it's not, maybe it is. But if it is, let me tell you, I mean, he looks like a Mr. Olympia. His legs look huge. They look veiny. They look ready for the stage, basically. He just needs to, I don't know, dry down a little bit more and that's it. He looks huge. But who the hell knows if this is recent or not? Kai just posted it and he didn't say when was this filmed. It could be recent, it could be old, I don't really know. But he posted a couple of other training videos in his stories. But it is basically just videos of himself doing this same exercise, only a couple of more sets. He's switching legs and so on, basically the same thing. And what I found in his tagged section is another video of himself training legs, wearing the same clothes, but doing other exercises, and he did not post this video, so let me play it for you. So, Kai never posted this video, at least not recently. He posted a couple of videos on his feed and on his stories, but not this one. I found this one in his tagged section, you can check it out if you want. It's just some no-name Instagram profile. It seems like somebody was training at the same gym and just filmed Kai training. That's what it seems like, and that's what I'm hoping for. If that's true, if this is recent, and if Kai is this lean and this big, and is paying attention to those details when he's working out. Nobody's training like that just to stay in shape, and nobody's staying in this good of a shape all year round. I mean, some people are, some Instagram models, but not bodybuilders as big as Kai. So if this is recent, if it really is, if he's training like this right now, I'm pretty sure he's competing at the Mr. Olympia. And you guys know that he can get the invitation if he just says he wants it. And no matter how much you guys hate him now, he's one of the greatest bodybuilders of today, of all time, actually. And if he decides to compete, I would change my prediction and I would say that he would win the Mr. Olympia because he is the most impressive and the most complete bodybuilder on that stage. But Dave Palumbo said that he's not going to compete, so he probably won't. But I don't know where did Dave get that information. If you guys know, let me know. I want to believe that Kai will come back. I want to believe that, and I want to believe that he can win the Mr. Olympia. I would really love to see that. That would be really, really amazing. What do you guys think? Now on this photo right here, of course, you can see Kai standing next to his biggest rival. And yeah, that's Heath, of course. Heath beat Kai at every single Mr. Olympia since 2011. Kai was the runner-up. He always wanted to beat Heath. He never achieved that. But this year, there will be no Heath. Or will there? Well, let's check Heath's Instagram. Let's see what he is about currently. Well, at this point, I would be more surprised if I saw Heath on the stage than I would be surprised if I saw Greene. Currently, his girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure, this woman right here, Shuri, is sick. You can check the details, what is wrong with her. And Heath is just there talking about her. He uploaded a photo of himself. As far as his stories, he's talking about, about her and about the other stuff that is happening in his life. He's focused on bodybuilding still, not competing most likely, but he's promoting his supplements and so on. He's trying to stay relevant even though he's not competing. He's doing fine, but he'll probably not be at the Mr. Olympia. In the meantime, we have a new photo from Shawn Rhoden, a physique update. I don't know, it's underwater. It's in the bottom of a swimming pool. You cannot really judge his physique based on this shot right here because it's very blurry and you cannot see anything pretty much. This one is a little bit more clear and yeah, you can see that he's in great shape, sure, but he's not gonna compete at the Mr. Olympia because his eligibility to compete at the Mr. Olympia was revoked and I don't think AMI will let him compete. Not this year, maybe next year when his problems get resolved, but this year we're not gonna see Shawn Rhoden. Most likely not. But honestly, it's interesting that he's actually still training very, very hard. He's training like he's prepping for the Mr. Olympia. Now we all know that he's not gonna be there, but what his plans actually are. Is he still hoping that they will invite him? Is he gonna compete at some of the other post-Olympia shows, some other IFBB Pro shows? Because he's not banned from the IFBB, he's only banned from the Mr. Olympia. IFBB is just a federation, International Federation of Bodybuilders, and Mr. Olympia is just a competition that is in that particular federation, but Mr. Olympia has the right to forbid bodybuilders from competing over there. And that's what they did with Shawn Rhoden. I think it was the wrong decision, because shouldn't you be innocent until proven guilty? I guess that's not how they saw things, and I also understand them from the business side point. They don't want somebody who was accused of rape to represent such a great show, the biggest one in bodybuilding. So I kind of understand what they did, but it wasn't really nice. But it is what it is. I don't think we can change anything at this point. No matter how many signatures we gather, we're probably not gonna see Shawn at the Mr. Olympia, but maybe we'll see him at that new Rocks show. It seems like that new show is going to challenge the Mr. Olympia. And I don't think it will be just another Arnold Classic. I think it will be bigger than Arnold Classic, and I think it will challenge Mr. Olympia. And since the prize money is going to be higher than the Mr. Olympia, maybe many bodybuilders will be like, Mr. Olympia, give us more money if you want us to compete over there. And if Mr. Olympia doesn't raise the prize money, maybe Mr. Olympia will fall apart and this new show will become new Mr. Olympia. Or Mr. Olympia will follow up and increase their prize money, which is also great. Whatever happens, I don't see anything negative from this new show. And I'm pretty sure that Shawn Rhoden will be there. I'm pretty sure he's gonna get ready for one of the IFBB shows, and it's most likely going to be that one. That would be a great decision. For him, and also for Kai Greene, and also for Heath, and for Big Ramy. So it's gonna be bigger than Mr. Olympia if those guys compete there. That is all about the bodybuilders that will not compete at the Mr. Olympia. And let's talk about the more relevant ones. For example, Roly Winklaar, who is probably going to be your runner-up or maybe even your winner of 2019 Mr. Olympia. So you can see him here doing planks. Now he is definitely one of the most improved bodybuilders if we're talking about stomach control. He is one of the few people who actually managed to turn bubble gut to vacuum and still retain a lot of muscle. Have great conditioning and overall great package, and plays very well at the biggest competitions in the world. And if Roly did it, anybody else can do it. And right here you can see him doing these planks. Now he's focused on his stomach apparently, and that's a huge thing. I think Roly is one of the smartest bodybuilders in that regard, because he listens to criticism and he works on it, he improves his stuff. He is not ignorant like some other bodybuilders who don't want to hear about the criticism. Those who think that they know everything, that the audience can't see what's really happening and they don't want to improve on their weaknesses. Roly is not one of them. Roly works on his weaknesses, and that's why he keeps improving every single year. And this year, we may very well see him win the Mr. Olympia. I'm looking forward to seeing him on that stage. I'm sure he's bringing his best ever, and we'll see how he does. We have a physique update of Juan Morrel. He's posing right here. And tell me, is this not top 6 Mr. Olympia worthy? I think after Brandon, William, Roly, Cedric and Dexter, 6th place is going to be between John De La Rosa and Juan Morrel. Maybe Steve Kuklo, maybe Luke Sando, maybe a couple of other guys, but I think Juan Morrel is one of the favorites to take that 6th spot. His legs, I know, very bad legs, but Brandon Curry is our favorite to win it, and he also has poor legs, but not as poor as Juan's. Juan's quads are really small compared to his massive upper body, but his upper body is super dominant, and from the sides you cannot really notice his leg mass deficiency. And from the front you can notice that he's incredibly full and vascular and conditioned. The same thing is from the back. But I mean, look at him here. Look at how huge he is. Look at those shoulders. Those shoulders are freaking enormous. He's a huge guy. And I think he will be battling for that 6th spot at the Mr. Olympia. This is his year. After winning Arnold Classic South Africa and the New York Pro, I think he's one of the favorites for cracking that top 5, top 6 for sure, even though he lacks mass in legs. Now we also have an update, a physique update of Patrick Moore. This guy is a newcomer. I think this is his first Mr. Olympia ever, and he is one of those guys that can surprise us. That he can just show up and, well, probably not win the show, but, place higher than we expect him to do. His arms and his shoulders are so big that they seem a little bit too suspicious. I say too suspicious because I think all bodybuilders at the pro level are using some kind of site enhancement oil in one muscle or another. But I think he maybe used a little bit too much in his arms and shoulders. Maybe not, maybe it isn't just his genetics, but who the hell knows. I think most of them are using it because why not? Why wouldn't they? Anyways, Patrick is looking great. He has very small waist with huge broad shoulders, very wide lats and so on. Such a huge potential. This year, I think he will be in that top 10. Yeah, I don't see him really doing better than that. Maybe like 8th, 9th place if all goes well, but probably top 10 is safe to say about Patrick Moore. Anyways, he's a huge potential and we'll see him do much better in the years to come. Not too many people are actually talking about Nathan Asha. This guy was a huge prospect. Back in the day, we had like Josh Nartowitz, Dallas McCarver, Nathan Asha, also Justin Compton. Justin retired. Dallas died. Josh is some sort of sick right now, so he's probably not going to compete in the Mr. Olympia. And the only one of those 4 guys left is right here, this man, Nathan Asha. Now, how will he do? I think this year wasn't really the best for him. I mean, he won the British Grand Prix, but the lineup wasn't very deep. It was a pretty small show compared to the others. He competed at Vancouver Pro, where he took 2nd place, where he was destroyed by Hari Chaupan. And I think he kind of lost a little bit of muscle this year. I think he was very well conditioned, but he wasn't as big as he was once. So for him, even though he lost a little bit of mass, with this kind of conditioning and symmetry and everything, I think he will be at least like 8th place, maybe even crack the top 6. He can crack the top 6 for sure. But it's gonna be really hard to crack the top 6 against guys like this, for example, Jonathan De La Rosa. I mean, John, he's just much thicker, much fuller than Nathan. Nathan is kind of stringy, you know, compared to the likes of Juan Morrel, John De La Rosa, and Steve Kuklo, for example, Luke Sando as well, his British rival. And I don't know if this is the most recent physique update of John De La Rosa, but if it is, it means he's on track. Now, he can be defined and he can be shredded at 2 weeks out, but if he doesn't peak perfectly, if he doesn't get dry enough in those final couple of days, it will be not enough. But we saw him pulling great conditioning at the Puerto Rico Pro and Toronto Pro. He won both of those shows. Those are really big shows, both Mr. Olympia qualifiers. He crushed a couple of people's dreams by winning those two. For example, Ian Valliers, if he didn't compete at the Toronto Pro, if John just won Puerto Rico Pro and stopped right there, Ian Valliere would have enough points now and he would be at the Mr. Olympia. But no, John kind of crushed his dreams for this year. But John, I mean, I believe that this guy has the biggest potential to be 6th place or even beat Cedric and take that 5th place. But it's gonna be hard. He just needs to come hard. Yeah, he needs to come peeled, shredded, like he was previously this year. So I don't know if he can do it again. If he does that, he can do very, very well. But I'm looking forward to see him, of course. That was the very last open class bodybuilder that we're gonna talk about today. We are moving to classic physique now. And we're starting with Arash Akbar because I think this guy should move to open. He poses like a bodybuilder. He's posing like a bodybuilder much more than he's posing like a classic physique guy. He loves bodybuilding. That's what he always wanted to be. He did men's physique because he wasn't big enough. Now he's doing classic because he's not big enough for open. But I think he should go to open. I think he should try to add more mass. I know his frame is not ideal for the open. I don't know if he can actually gain that much mass, but if he could, I mean, he could try. He could try, you know, he could up the doses way, way higher, and he could get there probably because I think he has the structure for it. His glutes are too good, his arms are very big, and I think deep down in his soul, he loves bodybuilding more than classic physique. But he's looking great for classic, and he definitely made some improvements, especially in his quads and his back as well. Despite being very close to 40 years old, he's still making progress, great progress, and I think we will see him jump in placings this year. So maybe he'll be 3rd place. It's possible. He can beat George Peterson, but we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be an exciting Mr. Olympia for sure. What about this guy though, Danny Hester? Most people forgot about him, but he won the first Classic Physique Mr. Olympia back in 2016, and he was very old back then. He was like, I don't know, 46, something like that. I don't know how old he is now, but he's getting close to 50, maybe he is 50. He's an old guy, but he always comes in probably best conditioning on that stage. He has great back, but he will probably not be in top 6 this year. And our 2 times Classic Physique Mr. Olympia champion and the current champ, the defending champion, Breon Ansley, is getting better by the day. I think this year he is going to present his best package of all time. I think he's gonna bring the best that he ever was, and it's gonna be very hard to beat him. I think it's gonna be pretty much impossible, but I still think that Chris Bumstead is going to edge him out. I mean, Breon, very good, very complete. If you take a look at this shot right here, you can see a lot of thickness in traps and the lower lats area. That's something that Chris is lacking. And a lot of mass in his triceps. So that's the things that he has and Chris doesn't have. And so back thickness and overall arm, not just mass, but the structure of his arms. And right here in this quarter turn, you can see what I'm talking about when I say he is not as impressive as Chris is. He just looks like another bodybuilder who is a little bit smaller, in my opinion. Nothing impressive here. What is standing out on his physique? Not much really. I mean, he has chest, he has arms, he has forearms, he has shoulders, quads are there, calves too, abs are good, back is there, everything is there. I mean, he's always conditioned, his presentation is fine, but nothing is super crazy, freaking impressive. But that is something that Chris has. Chris has that freak factor, not freak factor in terms of crazy mass, but he just has an outstanding physique. You can see it right here, this is his most recent physique update. I mean, all of these photos that you just saw today are recent physique updates, and this one as well. So when you look at Chris's physique, you can see many impressive body parts, and especially that V-taper. That's something that makes a physique aesthetic. That is the thing. I mean, if you're training to have big arms, sure, that's fine. If you're training to have big chest or big legs or whatever, that's all cool. But if you want to look impressive, you want to have a physique, a good looking physique, you need to have a good V-taper. And that's what Chris has. And that's what makes him very classic. Small waist combined with very wide lats and wide clavicles, big shoulders, and also very well developed and outstanding chest. You cannot really see it in this pose, but you know that he has very good chest and very impressive legs. I mean, every single body part of his is very impressive. His arms are not small. They just have weird insertions. Not very aesthetic, you know, not shaped in the best way, but big they are. He really grew them in past couple of years. His arms really got much bigger, and with this kind of frame, with this kind of structure, and with that great vacuum and V-taper and everything, last year he was off, but he was only 1 point behind. This year, everything is going well for him. He's going to come try and beat Breon by that 1 point. I think it will be enough. I think so. Whatever you guys think about all these things in this video, tell me down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please like it. And if you want to see more content like this, you know what to do. Subscribe. All the best, guys. Bye bye.